In the suburbs of Chicago, the most expensive stadium project in NFL history is taking shape. The Chicago Bears are planning a $4.7 billion complex in Arlington Heights that will dwarf every other sports facility on the planet. But here's what makes this project truly extraordinary. This isn't just about building a bigger stadium. The Bears are creating what could become the most advanced sports and entertainment destination ever constructed. And it's sparking the biggest debate in Chicago sports history. Today, we're diving deep into the most ambitious stadium project in professional sports, exploring the cutting-edge technology, massive scale, and controversial decisions that could either revolutionize the NFL experience or become the most expensive gamble in sports history. To understand why the Bears need this massive new facility, we need to look at their current situation at Soldier Field. Built in 1924 as a memorial to World War I veterans, the stadium underwent a controversial $690 million renovation in 2003 that somehow made things worse for both fans and the team. The renovation reduced seating capacity from 66,000 to just 61,500, making it the smallest stadium in the NFL. The design created obstructed views, cramped concourses, and some of the worst sightlines in professional sports. And more importantly for the Bears' bottom line, they don't own Soldier Field. The Chicago Park District does, which means the team gets zero revenue from naming rights and limited income from concessions and non-football events. And the financial impact of that is staggering. While teams like the Dallas Cowboys generate over $400 million annually just from their stadium, the Bears rank 28th out of 32 NFL teams in stadium revenue despite being in the third largest market in the country. They're essentially leaving hundreds of millions of dollars on the table every year because of their lease agreement. Then in September of 2021, the Bears made a move that shocked the NFL world. They placed a winning bid of $197.2 million for the 326-acre Arlington International Racecourse property in Arlington Heights, about 30 miles northwest of downtown Chicago. The horse racing track had operated since 1927, but declining attendance and the rise of online gambling had made it financially unsustainable. The Bears' vision for this property is breathtaking in scope. The $4.7 billion development would include a new 65,000-seat dome stadium, retail spaces, restaurants, hotels, office buildings, and residential units. The complex would span 326 acres, larger than Disneyland, creating what team officials call a sports and entertainment district. I mean, the stadium itself will be a technological marvel. The design features a translucent dome that can open and close, allowing for climate-controlled comfort while maintaining the outdoor football atmosphere that Chicago fans demand. The roof structure would use ETFE panels, the same advanced material used in cutting-edge buildings like the Allianz Arena in Munich. And the numbers behind this project are just mind-boggling. At $4.7 billion, this would be the most expensive stadium project in NFL history, surpassing even the $5.2 billion SoFi Stadium in LA when adjusted for scope and inflation. But the Bears aren't just building bigger, they're building smarter. The new facility would include over 200 luxury suites and 8,000 club seats, generating the premium revenue streams that modern NFL teams require to remain competitive. The concourse design eliminates the cramped corridors that plague Soldier Field, with 360-degree circulation allowing fans to walk around the entire stadium without losing sight of the field. Technology integration would be unprecedented. Every seat would have access to high-speed Wi-Fi, mobile ordering for concessions, and augmented reality features through a dedicated app. The stadium would be designed to host not just Bears games, but Super Bowls, college football playoff games, major concerts, and international soccer matches. But what really sets the Arlington Heights project apart from traditional stadium builds is its focus on year-round entertainment. The Bears have studied successful developments like the Star in Frisco, Texas with the Cowboys, and Patriot Place in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and how they create a destination that generates revenue 365 days a year. The retail component would include 1.4 million square feet of shopping and dining options. A 300-room luxury hotel would cater to visitors attending events or conducting business in the area. The residential component would feature 900 units, creating a live work-play environment that keeps the complex active even during the NFL offseason. I mean, the concert and entertainment potential is enormous. Modern stadium design allows for rapid conversion between football and concert configurations. And the Bears are projecting that the facility could host 20 to 30 major concerts annually, competing with venues like MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, which generates over $100 million annually from non-football events. The $4.7 billion price tag has created a fierce political battle over public funding. The Bears initially requested $2.2 billion in public subsidies through tax increment financing and municipal bonds, nearly half the total project cost. If this went through, it would require approval from Arlington Heights, Cook County, and the state of Illinois. But Illinois taxpayers are already paying for stadium mistakes from the past. I mean, the state is still paying off bonds for the 2003 Soldier Field renovation, payments that won't end until 2032, by the way. Those bonds cost taxpayers $24 million annually for a renovation that actually made the stadium worse. Governor J.B. Pritzker has been cautious about the proposal, stating that any public funding must demonstrate clear economic benefits for Illinois residents. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson has been openly hostile, arguing that the Bears should honor their lease at Soldier Field through 2033 and invest in the city rather than fleeing to the suburbs. Supporters point to massive economic benefits. The Bears claim the development would create 48,000 construction jobs and 9,100 permanent positions. Annual economic impact is projected at $9.4 billion, with $1.4 billion in annual tax revenue for local governments. But economists who study stadium projects are still skeptical. Research consistently shows that publicly funded stadiums rarely deliver promised economic benefits. Dr. Andrew Zimbalist, a sports economist at Smith College, points out that most stadium economic impact studies count gross spending rather than net new economic activity, inflating the actual benefits to taxpayers. The money spent at the new complex often comes from other local entertainment spending rather than creating genuinely new economic activity. However, proponents argue that this project is different because of its scale and year-round operation, unlike traditional stadiums that sit empty most of the year. Bears fans are deeply divided on this whole Arlington Heights thing. Season ticket holders appreciate the potential for better amenities and sightlines, but many are concerned about the suburban location and increased costs. Let's just say transportation is going to be a huge issue. Soldier Field is accessible by multiple CTA and Metro lines serving downtown Chicago. Arlington Heights would require significant parking infrastructure and potentially new public transit connections to serve 65,000 fans on game days. And ticket prices would almost certainly increase in a new facility. The Bears would need to generate significantly more revenue to justify the massive construction costs, and that revenue would come primarily from higher ticket prices and premium seating options. And many longtime fans see the move as a betrayal of the team's identity. The Bears have built their brand on being Chicago's team, but the Arlington Heights location would make them a suburban franchise, similar to how the Dallas Cowboys play in Arlington, Texas, rather than Dallas proper. Building a $4.7 billion complex while maintaining NFL operations presents enormous logistical challenges. The Bears are facing a complex timeline that requires environmental studies, zoning approvals, and construction coordination over at least 5 years. The team's lease at Soldier Field runs through 2033, with early termination penalties reaching $84 million. This creates potential overlap where the Bears will be paying for both facilities, adding financial pressure to complete the project quickly and efficiently. Construction would also need to account for Chicago's harsh winters, which can halt outdoor work for several months each year. The Bears' timeline assumes optimal weather conditions and no significant delays, assumptions that rarely prove accurate for projects of this size. The new stadium would showcase technology that just doesn't exist in current NFL venues. The Bears are partnering with tech companies to create what they call a smart stadium that uses artificial intelligence to optimize everything from crowd flow to concession sales. The translucent dome would also feature advanced climate control systems that can adjust temperature and humidity in different sections based on occupancy and weather conditions. LED lighting systems would create dynamic environments for different events, from the intense atmosphere needed for Bears games to the softer ambiance required for concerts. And the field itself would use the latest in turf technology, with heating systems that ensure perfect playing conditions regardless of Chicago's weather. The facility would also include state-of-the-art broadcast capabilities, allowing for enhanced television coverage and potentially virtual reality experiences for remote viewers. The new stadium would give the Bears significant competitive advantages in the modern NFL. Enhanced revenue streams would allow for higher player salaries and better facilities, helping attract top talent. And the improved fan experience would strengthen the team's brand and market position. The facility would also position the Bears to host major events that generate additional revenue and prestige. Chicago hasn't hosted a Super Bowl since 1985, largely because Soldier Field doesn't meet modern NFL standards. This new facility would be designed specifically to meet Super Bowl requirements, potentially bringing the game back to Chicago for the first time in 4 decades. The Bears have also committed to making the new stadium environmentally sustainable, incorporating solar panels, rainwater collection systems, and energy-efficient building materials. The development would include green spaces and walking trails, creating a more environmentally friendly footprint than typical suburban developments. However, environmental groups have still raised concerns about building on the former racetrack property, which could require soil remediation and could impact local wildlife habitats. The increased traffic and development could also strain local infrastructure and air quality. The success or failure of the Arlington Heights project could influence similar developments across the NFL. Other teams facing stadium challenges, including the Washington Commanders, Tennessee Titans, and Buffalo Bills, are watching closely to see how Chicago navigates the complex politics of modern stadium development. The project could also trigger similar demands from other Chicago sports teams. The Bulls and Blackhawks play in the United Center, which opened in 1994 and is approaching the age where teams typically demand new facilities. The White Sox have already been exploring new stadium options too. The Bears face an aggressive timeline to make the Arlington Heights project a reality. Environmental studies, zoning approvals, and construction would take at least 5 years from the start of the approval process. The earliest this place could be open would be 2030, assuming all approvals are granted quickly. This timeline creates pressure on multiple fronts. The Bears need to maintain competitiveness at Soldier Field while investing billions in a new facility. They also need to manage the political process carefully to secure necessary approvals and funding. The Arlington Heights project represents more than just a new stadium. It's a test of whether one of the NFL's oldest franchises can successfully adapt to modern sports economics. The Bears' success or failure could determine their competitiveness for the next 30 years. For Illinois taxpayers, the decision represents a choice between supporting a major cultural institution and avoiding what critics see as corporate welfare. The political ramifications will extend far beyond sports, potentially influencing future economic development decisions across the state. So, the broader NFL is watching to see whether traditional franchises can navigate the complex politics of modern stadium development while still maintaining their connection to loyal fan bases. As we move deeper into 2025, the Chicago Bears' $4.7 billion stadium project remains one of the most ambitious and controversial sports facility proposals in the country. The combination of massive scale, advanced technology, and complex political dynamics creates a perfect storm of challenges and opportunities. Whether the Bears can successfully build this revolutionary facility will determine not just where they play football, but whether they can remain competitive in the modern NFL. The stakes couldn't be higher for a franchise that's been part of Chicago's identity for over a century. The Arlington Heights project represents the future of sports entertainment, a year-round destination that combines cutting-edge technology with traditional football passion. If successful, it could become the template for how NFL teams approach facility development in the coming decades. So, what do you think about the Bears' ambitious stadium plans? Should teams invest in these massive entertainment complexes, or should they just focus on the game? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.